as also Guyavadibi by the confidential devotees. Yaha, one who, Eka, one only, Ishaha, the supreme controller, Jagad, of the complete creation, Atma, super soul, Lilaya, by manifestation of pastimes, Surjati, creates, Aratyati, also maintains and annihilates, Na, never, Tatra, there, Sajate, becomes attached to it. Translation. O dear friends, here's that very personality of Godhead whose attractive and confidential pastimes are described in the confidential parts of Vedic literature by his great devotees. It's he only who creates, maintains, and annihilates the material world, and yet remains unaffected. Purport. As is stated in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Sri Krishna. Here it is confirmed in the Bhagavatam also. The Vedas are expanded by many branches and sub-branches by great devotees and empowered incarnations of the Lord, like Vyas, Narada, Sukadeva Goswami, the Kumaras, Kapila, Prahlad, Janaka, Bali, and Yamaraj. But in the Srimad Bhagavatam especially, the confidential parts of his activities are described by the confidential devotee, Sukadeva Goswami. In the Vedanta Sutras or Upanishads, there's only a hint of the confidential part of his pastimes. In such Vedic literatures as the Upanishads, the Lord has expressly been distinguished from the mundane conception of his existence, his identity being fully spiritual, his form, name, quality, and paraphernalia, etc., have been elaborately distinguished from matter. Therefore, he is sometimes misunderstood by less intelligent persons as impersonal. But factually, he is the Supreme Person, Bhagavan, and he is partially represented as Paramatma or impersonal Brahman. Om Jnanatimarandasya Gyanandana Salakaya Shakshuran Militam Yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Bistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swaparantikam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasudeva Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. In the 15th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, there's the verse Sarvasya Taham Ridi Sanivisto Matasmitir Gyanam Abhavanamscha Vedaischa Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo Vedanta Krit Vedavit Eva Chaham. So when Srila Prabhupada is opening the purport and is saying, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita, all the Vedic literatures are glorifying the greatness of Lord Krishna. Then it is Vedaischa Sarver Aham Eva Vedyo. That is the purpose of all the Vedas, to glorify Krishna, to glorify Krishna. Even if there are Vedic literatures, even if there are the Vedic literatures, Vedic literatures are describing an aspect of Krishna. They may describe the energy of Krishna. They may describe the expansions of Krishna, or they may glorify the agents of Krishna, the demigods. But then the demigods themselves are glorifying Krishna. So in this way, we can appreciate that actually all the Vedic literatures are simply glorifying Krishna. Therefore, one who understands, Yei Krishna Tattvacete Vittase Guruhoy, one who understands the truth about Krishna, he is actually a teacher. He has actually understood the real purpose of all knowledge. Vasudeva Paraveda. It is said that Vasudeva is the ultimate goal of all knowledge. There is no knowledge beyond Vasudeva, and any knowledge which seems to exist separate from Krishna is actually illusion. It is also said in Bhagavatam, Rite ritam yat pratiyeta na pratiyeta chatmani tadvidyat atmano mayam yato tama yato bhasa, which means that the value of anything in this world is measured in his relationship with Krishna. In the Nectar of Devotion, there is something on this point where it is said that just as one can not see oneself other than by the light of the sun, in the same way, one cannot know oneself unless one knows oneself through the relationship with Krishna. So living beings are always in relationship with something. Nice fresh air, nice sun, nice cool rain, nice this, nice that, nice meal, always nice chair, in relationship with the energy of Krishna. And therefore, we're ultimately always in relationship with Krishna. And one who is conscious of this relationship with Krishna is Krishna conscious. And such a person will understand the value of everything. And whereas others that see things separate from Krishna, they become bewildered by the various objects and the various energies in this material world, the glitter of the material energy. And the result is that they become captured by the material energy. It is said, Bhumira po nalo vayu kamana budri vachahankaram ityame bina prakritirastada. The 8 separated material energies of Krishna: earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, false ego. And then apareyamitastvanyam prakritim vidime param jiva bhuttamaya bahoya yedam daryate jagat. The living being is superior to that energy, and the living being therefore is trying to exploit that material energy. Then one can do so in the service of Krishna. That is what we can do in this material world. Sometimes it is said, the world is like an altar, and we are like pujaris on that altar, and simply taking things and offering them to Krishna, whatever it is. And so we can be in the material world. We can deal with matter. We need not hide in a cave. We need not lock ourselves up away from the world in a remote place. We can interact with the world and simply offer to Krishna. In that way, the glorification of Krishna is our objective. In the Srimad Bhagavatam Rita, there are 2 stories. One story is a story of Narada Muni, who is looking for the greatest devotee, and the other story is the story of Gopakumar, who is on the way to attain the ultimate goal of life. When Narada Muni is described, Narada Muni is looking for the greatest devotee. And Narada Muni first looks at a Brahmana in Prayag. And there, on the bank of the confluence of Ganga, Yamuna, and Saraswati, there this Brahmana was making wonderful arrangements for the glorification of the Lord. And Narada Muni was overwhelmed. Narada Muni came to that place and he began to glorify that Brahmana. He said, "You are the greatest devotee. You are the most wonderful devotee because you are making such wonderful arrangements to glorify the Supreme Lord. What more is there to do? This is most wonderful. Everything is auspicious now." Then that devotee said, "No, actually in South India, there is a king who is so much greater than me, because this king, he is worshiping the Lord in such opulence, because this king engages his entire kingdom in the service of the Lord and in the glorification of the Lord. Then what am I doing?" Said, "It's just insignificant." And Narada was on the way to meet that king. But then when he met the king, the king was pointing at the demigods. And since Narada can travel, the king was saying, "What opulence I have. Indra's opulence is so much greater. And he is worshiping the Lord. My worship is insignificant." So Narada kept on traveling, and initially we see how the focus is on worshiping the Lord in opulence and greater opulence, better offerings, a better throne. Just as in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it is stated that when we worship the deity, that the deity should be worshipped in a royal fashion, and that the deity should be offered a throne, like a golden throne, just as we are having. And that the deity should be offered royal food. Of course, the king is the representative of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, when the royalty is worshipped, then that is actually due to the Supreme Lord. We also saw that the Kurus were saying, "What is going on here? What is going on here? This Krishna, he had no kingdom. He had no kingdom. He grew up like a cowherd boy. He had no kingdom. And now, then he made his city in Dwarka, and we allowed him, to just take royal insignia and so on. But now he's, not recognizing the glories of the Kurus. Now he's walking with a white umbrella. And now Krishna, he is demanding that we give our daughter to his son. He is demanding. Balaram was there to demand. They refused. They said, "Krishna, we allowed him to have the white parasol, which are the royal insignia. But Balaram then took his plow and began to drag the city of the Kurus towards the Yamuna, and in this way establishing that actually Krishna is the one who's the owner of all this opulence, and that it is all due to him, and that others are using it in his service and on his behalf. So even the kings of this world use their opulence in the service of the Lord. Then it's properly situated. So the first part of the story of Narada Muni is all about worshipping the Lord in opulence and then greater opulence. But then the story becomes further developed, and it says that no, greater than that are the Pandavas. No, sorry. Greater than that is Hanuman. Is Hanuman, because he is fully dedicated in service. It is not about the opulence. It is about the service attitude. That is more important. We can offer gold, we can offer so many things, but anyone who's rich can do so. But when things are offered with love and devotion, that is more valuable. So therefore, Hanuman was considered greater, and Narada Muni was so pleased to see Hanuman, such a servant, such a servant. Then Narada says, "Oh Hanuman, you are the greatest servant, you are favored the most by the Lord." Hanuman said, "Me favored by the Lord? How am I favored by the Lord? I'm not favored by the Lord, because when Lord Ramachandra left, he took the entire city of Ayodhya back with him to the spiritual world, and me, I had to stay behind. How am I most favored?" No, he said, no. Think of the Pandavas, the Lord. He's always staying with the Pandavas. He's acting like their menial servant. As I am just in separation of the Lord. So the Pandavas are so much greater than me. The Pandavas. And then Narada Muni also said, the Pandavas. Let's go to the Pandavas. Yes, the Pandavas. And then Hanuman said, the Pandavas, let's go to the Pandavas. And they were going to the Pandavas. And then Hanuman said, wait a minute, I can't go to the Pandavas, because these Pandavas, they're very casual with the Lord. And me, I can't do that. I'm a monkey. I can't afford that. You know what I mean? I have to be respectful at all times. So Hanuman didn't want to break his mood. Anyway, in this way, Narada Muni is qualifying the glorification of the Lord. And that the glorification of the Lord has to be not just offering everything to Krishna, but offering with love. There is in the Nectar of Devotion a description about dasya, right? About servitorship. And then that dasya is classified in two categories. And one is a general service attitude of dasya. And the other one is known as kainkarya. And kainkarya means to serve like a personal attendant. For example, in general, Krishna says, Patram Fuspam Balam Toyam Yome Bhaktir Piyachati, offer me flower, fruit, leaf, water, and so on. So there's a whole range of things we can offer to Krishna, right? And that is in dasya. But in kainkarya, Krishna wants, it is what Krishna particularly wants at that moment, right? If it's milk, then it's milk, then it's not water or fruit juice, which are also offerable. Or in other words, the spiritual master, who is the external mercy manifestation of Krishna, the external manifestation of the super soul, he is revealing what Krishna particularly wants in a particular situation. And then in the mood of kainkarya, in the mood of personal attendant, one takes up that specific service, whatever is needed. So that is higher than that general mood, of okay, I stay within the boundaries of what Krishna wants and I just do something. No, higher is to offer specifically what Krishna desires, what Krishna requires. When devotees were asking about Prabhupada's eternal identity in Krishna's pastimes, then Prabhupada said, that is not required. That is not required. And that answer, that is not required, Prabhupada would give that from time to time. When devotees would ask, can we do this, can we do that? And sometimes Prabhupada would say, that is not required. Yes, but can we read this? But that is not required. Yes, but can we? Because our mood is, we're looking at like, all right, it's already so limited, right? Hare Krishna, this not allowed, that not allowed, don't turn left, don't turn right, don't turn backwards, don't go forwards. In which direction can we go? Restriction, restriction, restriction. So we're looking, what is allowed? What can we do? We need some freedom. But Prabhupada is looking, what is required? What does Krishna require? And what is required to satisfy Krishna? What is required to go back to Godhead? So this is this more concentrated level of devotional service. Sandrananda Visheshatma, it is said that gradually devotional service should become more dense, just as we are boiling down milk and turning it into kheer and making it thicker and thicker. And in the same with sugar, they take the syrup from the from the sugar cane and boil it down and make it thicker and thicker. And through that process, they get different stages of sugar. So in the same way, different stages of bhakti, different stages of glorifying Krishna. Not only by speaking, but by action. Acting to glorify Krishna. The whole Hare Krishna movement is simply for glorifying Krishna. How to preach. Sometimes we break our head how to preach, and ultimately preaching means glorifying Krishna. Right? And by glorifying Krishna, some people will be attracted. Ultimately that, yes, we may find some different entrance ways, but these are only entrance ways, and these entrance ways ultimately have to bring the substance of glorifying Krishna. Matchita matkata prana buddhiyantas parasparam katayantas chamam nicha tushanti cha ramanti cha, where devotees become tushanti cha ramanti cha, or satisfied and happy by this glorification of Krishna. It changes our whole consciousness. Sinful desires change. By hearing about Krishna, our desires change. This is our process. We are chanting Hare Krishna, and then by that chanting, our desires change. Gradually, we get a desire to serve Krishna. Like Prabhupada told the story about the Brahmana who gave the lecture describing Krishna in all his opulence, describing his dress, describing his jewels and so on. And one thief became attracted to the jewels, not to Krishna, but to the jewels. So he asked, oh, where can I find this Krishna? Oh, you just walk around Govardhan and you'll find him somewhere there. The thief walked around Govardhan for a long time, again and again, until one day actually he saw him. I saw all these jewels. So then he went up to him and said, "Hey, give me those jewels." Krishna said, "No, but I can't. My mother will be very upset. Give me those jewels now." Okay, Krishna gave the jewels. And then every thief is always looking for opportunities. And every thief has a dream. The dream that in one stroke, you make it for life. That's a thief's dream. Yeah? And so, when this thief saw all these jewels, and he had all these jewels, that was the one stroke where he could make it for life. Hey, and then he made it. He got it. But then, what happened was, everyone in life always has a dream that you never attain, and your whole life you can just sort of strive for this dream. But when you attain it, then what? So suddenly this thief fell into this vacuum. Now what? Now I have attained this dream. Now what? And then his desire changed. Then he developed a desire. He could see Krishna, and he could see that Krishna was actually the most wonderful. And he developed a new goal. The goal to please Krishna. He could see that is actually the greatest thing. And then he had these jewels and said, "Could I offer them to you?" And Krishna said, "Well, if you want to." And then the thief decorated Krishna with these jewels. That night Krishna came home, and Mother Yasoda said, "What happened? I didn't dress you like this." He said, "Oh, my friend, he did that, my devotee." So in this way he became transformed. And it is in this way that all our material goals, whether they will be attained or not attained, they'll become bleak. They'll begin to look small and insignificant. When we glorify Krishna, we begin to actually see the amazing glories of Krishna. All the other descriptions in the Vedic literature, like here it is speaking about Jagadatma, the soul of the universe. So that is all part of Krishna. Krishna is the soul of the universe. As we are the soul within the body, Krishna is fully conscious of every aspect of the universe. Krishna is all the external energy. He is all that. But ultimately, the interesting form of Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because we can serve that person. Prabhupada in one lecture gives a description about the universal form, and he explains that you can't relate to the universal form. The universal form is there to help us see that there is personality behind everything, but it's difficult to serve the universal form because that form is enormous and majestic. You can't dress the universal form. But in dealing with Krishna, who is like appearing in a human-like form and performing human-like pastimes, we can have an exchange on the human level, and in that way engage our full nature. Therefore, in glorifying Krishna, and not in glorifying the universal form or Brahman, but in glorifying the personality of Godhead, we can use all aspects of our personality in His service. And in that way, we can fully glorify Krishna with our whole being, and therefore, yayat Atma Supasidati, become fully satisfied. Okay, I will stop. Any questions, any comments? Start again. About glorifying. About glorifying, yeah? And then? How to glorify? We can glorify Krishna by engaging our senses. Rishikena rishikesa sevanam bhaktir uchate. So we use our senses to satisfy the senses of Krishna. As simple as that. That's why we see Krishna is given a very nice place, nice seat, nice dress, nice offerings are being cooked for Krishna, very opulent, tasty. That is one way, by serving the deity and serving him in that way. Another way is by spreading his glory, by speaking about Krishna. We can, wherever we are, we can speak about Krishna. You can tell someone that today is really nice. Today in the morning I went to the temple of Krishna. It was so serene. It was actually really inspiring to start my day in such a way with a temple. That's really something. See? One could say, you could say at work to anyone, if you'd say it in that way. From like, not like you must go to the temple, but just say, wow, today I went to the temple, that was actually really special. If you'd say that, right, that would be glorifying Krishna. Just speaking about Krishna to others, telling them. Right? You can stand on a street corner, or you can go on the train and raise your hand and say, and I want to tell you the glories of Krishna. Right? You can start like that. If you have some evangelic zeal, right, then that might be a way. One can glorify Krishna also through the paraphernalia of Krishna. You can glorify Ganga, you can glorify Yamuna, because these are related to Krishna. So all the things related to Krishna, if you glorify them also, that's also Krishna. Tulsi, you can glorify Tulsi. That's also glorifying Krishna. We can glorify the Bhagavatam, because the Bhagavatam is the literary incarnation of Krishna. We can glorify the Gita, because the Gita are the words of Krishna. So they're perfect. In this way, we can glorify Krishna directly, or we can glorify also what is related to Krishna. Then we can, even if we don't speak about the Gita, we can give someone a Gita. And that's also glorification of Krishna, right? Because then we are giving the words of Krishna, and the person who read it, they also are reading the glorification of Krishna. So we are carriers of the glorification of Krishna and give the glorification of Krishna to others. Like, birthday gifts. You can give the Gita as a birthday gift. Or one of the other books, Divyangi has a lot of them. And she's there in the pinkish sari, and she will give you a whole stack of birthday presents, and you'll be all right for the next year. Stock up today. So there are many ways. You can also do that, and anybody can do. There are many ways to glorify Krishna like this. We can see they sit on the street and sing the glories of Krishna. Look at all these paintings. The painters are glorifying Krishna. They made all these paintings. If you can paint, you also paint, glorify Krishna. Others, they cook. They make a cake offered to Krishna, and then they go to a relative and bring the cake. And said, wow, such nice cake. Secret agent. James Bond, secret agent. Go to the family, give them cake. Oh, you made such nice cake. It's prasadam, Krishna prasadam. The prasadam is transcendental. Therefore, by giving prasadam to someone is also glorifying Krishna. So many ways we can glorify Krishna. Many ways. And the more creative we become, glorify Krishna. One person was a hacker and managed to hack into 100 million computers, and on the screen appeared, chant Gauranga and be happy. Okay, that's also glorifying Krishna. 100 million computers, it was impressive number. So even hacking can be used to glorify Krishna. So we have to be creative. Think, how can we glorify Krishna? You can invite people to your house, a little kirtan. It's in my country, if you're from India, Indian descent, easy. Because you just say, oh, this is our culture. In my country, before you take the meal, you have to have little kirtan. Done, little kirtan. And they say, oh yes, this is Indian custom. Ah, yes, very good. And they'll do it. As Indian, you get away with many things. So many ways to glorify Krishna. Yeah. Other questions? Yeah.
So in this story about Brahmana who met Krishna, right, and he took all his jewelries.
Yeah.
So basically he attained his goal, right, and then he became transformed.
Yeah.
But in our case, we have so many material desires and we don't attain them.
Yeah.
How to don't have faith in these material desires?
Yeah, so here we are, we've understood that Maya is dangerous, that we become entangled in the cycle of birth and death. We've understood everything is temporary in the material world, and Bhagavad Gita explains to us that it is dukkalayam asasvatam, it is temporary and full of misery, because we see you may be rich, but then after some time it's gone. Then you'll suffer more than someone who was never rich, right? And so on. If you lose something nice that you had, oh, that's even more painful than when you never had it. So, if you never had it, you suffer from not having it. If you had it, you will lose it, and you will also suffer. Therefore, no matter what, see, no enjoyment equals suffering. You see them? Enjoyment plus temporary also equals suffering. Therefore, material life is always suffering. Dukkalayam asasvatam. And we got the mathematics. So we got the mathematics and we're walking around this world, and then we joined the Hare Krishna movement for some reason or other. Some because of the halva, some because of what the philosophies, whatever reason, here we are. And then and it's interesting, when you're in the material world, then you're frustrated and you want out. And when your sense gratification is getting frustrated, you want tyag, you want to renounce it, bhog and tyag. But when you have renounced it, then you want sense gratification. So suddenly you have given up the material world, and then all the material desires start to come out. All these desires come. And then we sit here with all these material desires. And they will not be fulfilled, and now what to do? No problem. They will diminish. It will look smaller. It will start to look less and less attractive. I have a simple analogy. Take your material desires, put them in a box, put it on the shelf, and do a lot of service. Then as we do a lot of service, then one day we are free. And then you think, today is a holiday, today I'm going to play with my material desires. You take your box off the shelf, you look, and it's half empty. Who took my material desires? Who do you think took your material desires? Don't you know that Krishna is a thief? Yes. So sarvadharmam parichaya mamekam saranam vrajaham tam sarva papebhyo mokshasyami masucha. Krishna takes away our sinful reactions. These desires are there because we have a stock of sinful reactions in the heart. It's not, hey, I have all these material desires, what can I do? No, I have all these sinful reactions in my heart, therefore I have all these sinful desires. And that devotional service takes away all these sinful reactions. Therefore my sinful desires will diminish. So don't worry. Material desires, akama sarva kamava. Material desires are not. Keep on chanting. Just keep on chanting. And they'll go away. Oh, Dasya. And Yoni.
So, we know Prabhupada gave us book distribution as a way to glorify Krishna. And obviously it's effective. So how to balance that with then trying to find new engagements and new ways for devotees to express their abilities they may have to glorify Krishna. At the same time, you know book distribution.
Book distribution.
So,
and how about other ways? Well, in the beginning, the devotees, they were having magazines, right? And distributing magazines on a Harinam party. And that was it. And then the big books came and in the beginning, the whole basement was full of books and no one knew what to do with them. And Buddhimanta, kind of cracked it, right? Buddhimanta, the first book he exchanged for gas, actually, right? He just tried, tank, had already filled up the tank and then went with the book and exchanged. And it worked. And then, okay, they start finding ways to distribute the books. And eventually, a technique was developed, and that technique sort of was taught to everyone all over the world. It's like, hi, are you from here or out of town? Out of town. Oh, you're lucky. You're one of the lucky people. Today you get a promotion, and 100 people today are getting one of these books. And guess what? You're one of the few. Congratulations. Da, 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 and all that. What's your name? Okay. What do you do? Are you a soldier? Oh, fantastic. This book is also dealing right on the topic. Isn't that amazing? That just you got it. Look, it's right there. Okay, the whole rap, right? And everyone was trained up. That's how you do it. And there was a whole parampara of how to do it, book distribution. Okay, and sometimes it got a little bit more aggressive, an elbow here, corner someone there, a book in the stomach. Some people got creative. Like we had one guy, I was telling the other day, who would stand on the street like this. So, people stopped and people looked up. There must be something there. So everyone's looking, and then when they're all looking up, boom, boom, boom. I held a book in the stomach, right? And I started stand there with this book. And then they were so confused, right? Like 1 minute they were up there, next minute they have a book, that they caught him totally off guard. And then they'd all take the book. I saw him do it. Didn't work so well for me, but you could try. Might work for you. Anyway, so devotees develop different ideas. We used to go to the cars, wind down the window, and then one day a devotee did it the other way around. He stayed in the car, and he just called everybody over to the car, right? And said, hey. And people said, oh, the guy is asking for the way, you know, especially there were no navigation, so it's quite common. So they walk up to the car, bang, give him a book. And the devotees the whole day sitting in the car giving out books. So there were so many novel ways, you know, that were tried. But that was it. That was book distribution. And but that's not the only way to distribute books. Right? There are many ways to distribute books. You can also have a cooking course, right? And distribute books. Somehow or other, let books be part of whatever you do. So all the programs we do, let books, ultimately a book has to be part of it. Yeah. Sooner or later, it has to come to that. So we can use all kinds of entrance ways, and we definitely can expand there, and it definitely makes a difference, right? Shall we go in these clothes? Shall we go in pant and shirt? Well, it makes a difference, and depends maybe where you are, but in some places, sometimes maybe good to wear regular clothes. So, in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there is this, and I'll end with that. Narada, it's too late, I can't take another question. But in the Chaitanya Bhagavat, there's the story about these dacoits who are following Lord Nityananda, and in the end, they get frustrated. They try to steal his wealth, and each time they get chopped down and whatever, is a long story. In the end, though, the leader understands. Nityananda is the Supreme Lord. He surrenders to him. And then, after he's surrendered and after he's become a devotee, right? That, because he's a gunda, a dacoit, right? A criminal, he's well connected in the underworld, right? And therefore, he preaches in the underworld. And from time to time, he brings criminals to Lord Nityananda. So that point is there. If you're connected in the underworld, you know, then you go and preach in the underworld, right? And in this way, he's looking at him, yeah. You didn't know, huh? He's done time, you know. Anyway, so I think it's all good. Sooner or later, it has to lead to a book. Religion without philosophy is just sentiment. Without the book, it's just sentiment. You come in the door with your sentiment, you go out the door on your sentiment, Prabhupada said. So, to anchor Krishna consciousness, the book has to be there. But it doesn't always have to be the first thing, isn't it? It can also come a little later. So, like that. Nowadays we understand that. It's not necessary that, you know, I'm going 2 minutes over. I had a servant who traveled with me. Yeah? We're on a plane, and I'm on the aisle, and there's a row of 3 seats. He had the middle seat. And then, you know, so there's a karmi seated against the window, against the wall, right? He's totally locked in with 2 Hare Krishnas, so he's already a little bit uncomfortable. There's like 2 Hare Krishnas next to him. You know, it's like locked in. And then suddenly this devotee next to me goes, "Can you say Hare Krishna?" Out of the blue, you know, "Can you say Hare Krishna?" The guy freaked out, tried to go into the wall, you know. Come on, say it. Come on, say it. Say Hare Krishna. The man has an expression of total confusion, doesn't know how to disappear, where to go. I mean, he's caught, and sees no way out. Then finally the brahmachari says, say ha. It was a little embarrassing. I was like, I'm not with him. I don't know him. I'm getting out of here. But he did it more than once. And sometimes there were people, they just surrendered, And they did it. They said, Hare Krishna. And some of them, they almost became like his disciple, like at that stage. They totally they followed him to the luggage belt and they asked him for spiritual instructions and everything. So you can either go straight in the face or you can go indirect. But in the end, it's got to come to the substance. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.